So, Kyovashad, our first main hub. By the way, there's my little beta puppy. Unfortunately, it does have stuff clipped through it if you're using, like, say, a staff or something that kind of just goes behind you. But yeah, that's what I got in the beta. It's my only back trophy I have, but I'm fine with it because he's so cute. There's a little wolf puppy sleeping on my back. I love it. Anyways, obviously, one of the really fun things about the game is that, of course, you can go here to the wardrobe, a nice thing they kept from 3, to be able to set up what you want your transmog to be. Now, some things that you swap out will, of course, remove it, like the staff. But, like, for example, I can set up an entire set here based on this. Now, it's not labeled the way it was in 3. Like, a lot of these you wouldn't be able to tell if they're legendaries or not. But also, it's worth noting, they don't cost gold. So, it's not like in 3 where if you select an appearance here, you're having to spend a lot of gold on, say, a legendary item to be your new transmog item. You just select what you want to look like without some kind of cost attached to it, which I think is fine. It's actually a good thing. You can also, of course, go ahead and change the color pigment for what you want, and you can have it applied to everything, which is a really cool feature. I like that. You can do that also for the items you have, like your weapons. You can add extra slots here if you want to keep a certain look. And if you want to, like, say, if you have, I want to change, like, the makeup or the jewelry or the tattoos or the hair on your character, you can do that. They also have these extra things called effects, where when you die, you can be able to change how it looks, or your town portal. But that leads me to something else I should talk about. The shop.
Greetings, traveler. Behold the marvelous tales I have to offer.
So here's one of the things about Diablo 4 that I'm not really happy about. The shop. Now, unlike Diablo Immortal, the game is not in your face about this. It's just here, it exists, but it's not constantly pestering you to use it, to spend money on it. Now, you've got this in-game currency, Platinum, but you can't really get it unless you either get it in the Battle Pass, or you just buy it here with real money. Yeah. There are add-ons, though at the moment they're not here right now. But there have been some other things. For example, there was one where you could get Invincible as a horse. Yes, as in Invincible from World of Warcraft. You could get him as a horse, and you could get the Lich King's helm as a trophy for your horse. I am not kidding. That was an actual thing. I will say, some of these sets look really cool. Like this one here, the Hell's Champion set for the Barbarian. Look at that.
Powerful.
Oh, that looks so cool. I would love to have this, but I am not spending that much money for a cosmetic set in this game. But here you can be able to get other back pieces. Like here you can get one with a cat. You can get different appearances for your town portals, which can come with other things for your class. You can get stuff for your specific classes. And you can get extra mounts. But again, these are usually going to cost you quite a bit of platinum. And of course, you can see how much each platinum is. I mean, seriously. Would you spend $25 to get one of these? Or 2 of these? Would you really? I'm not. These are just... Because, you know, for one thing, these don't do anything. They're just cosmetic stuff. But I'm not really wanting these enough to spend a bunch of money on them. So I'm not really in favor of the fact that you have to spend money to get some of these really cool things. There's no way to earn these in the game. You have to buy them via platinum, which you, as far as I can tell, the only way you can really get platinum, a good amount of it, is via spending money on it, unless you get the Battle Pass. But again, you have to spend money to actually unlock the Battle Pass to get some of those other rewards. Otherwise, a lot of them are closed off to you. So there are clans, which is a really cool thing in case you want to, get into a group of people. I am, of course, in the full Murloc clan, just like in World of Warcraft, my guild. You can be able to, of course, play with your friends in the social area. All right, so now I can show you the Codex of Power. Now I can actually show this. So this is where you can collect the aspects, which are the different things for your legendaries. So once you get one of these and you salvage it, you actually add it to this collection. And then what you can do, and I've actually already done this on this character, if you have at least a yellow, you can upgrade it to a legendary. And that's actually what I've already done with a few of the pieces I already have on this character. Now, this is one of the changes I think happened, although I think this was around back then. I actually forget. One of the things that they've changed, especially when it comes to loot, there's no longer an option for you to have to upgrade your items. Instead, I think what they've changed and added here is something called tempering, which gives you the option, if you select an item, to then select a different category for these different recipes you can collect while you're playing the game, to then add an extra possible enhancement. So, for example, if I can be able to select this helm, and then I can either add a utility enhancement, which can be like extra chance to slow or immobilize or stun, or I can add more thorns or more barrier generation, or I can go to the defensive category and add either more life, more armor, more dodge chance, more resistances. So let's say I select one of these. Let's just go with this, natural schemes. And it'll pick and affix for me. In this case, I ended up with plus 290 thorns, which I'm fine with since I'm playing as a werebear. In case you're wondering, so when you pick this and you pick the category, you then have a chance, a temper item, and it'll cost you these different things, raw hides, veiled crystals, and then it'll have a chance to pick one of those. And if you don't like it, I got armor there, you can pick the same category, and then you can re-roll. And I think you can re-roll up to 3 times. So it's not a perfect system, but it is a interesting system. It's kind of similar to, I guess, the reroll system in Diablo 3, except some of them you could go ahead and reroll as many times as you wanted. So it's not perfect, but, it is what it is, I suppose. So anyways. But that's one of the changes I think that came around with this season. But basically, you go to the occultist here, and you can put an item in here. Usually it has to be, you'll notice I can't put a blue item. It has to be at least a yellow. And then I can go to the Codex of Power. And any of the codexes or aspects that I have collected, I can then be able to put on this item and it'll become a legendary with that specific aspect. I really like this system because it allows me to be able to decide which collection of legendaries that I want my character to utilize. One of the things that was a little frustrating at times in 3 was when you would get certain legendaries that you didn't want or use, and you couldn't do anything about it. There was a way to change it, but it cost a lot with the Kanai's Cube. Here, if I want to, say, put that and then select a codex here, or an aspect, it is going to cost me some gold and some materials, but not as much as, say, it was in 3. So it feels like the idea that you can be able to do this early on is actually pretty good. Now, of course, I'll probably end up swapping this piece of gear for something better, but at least it lets you have the opportunity to go ahead and get some of these specific imprinted legendary aspects on your items for yourself. And I think that's a really cool idea. I think that's really great. It allows me to be able to kind of like try these out and test them early on. And yeah, I think that's a really cool idea and system. Thorns. Very nice.
If you need work.
So this is the Purveyor of Curiosities. This is basically the Blood Shard person. So you get these right here, these Murmuring Obols. And these are what you use to roll on getting a possible decent item for yourself. In a certain slot, you can pick whichever category. So in my case, let's say I want to get some better boots.
Very nice.
Oh, how about that? I got some yellow boots, which are better. So now, here's what I can do. I'll show this for you guys now. So I can take these boots over here, and now it'll give me different categories, either mobility or utility. And I'll get to choose amongst the aspects that I have actually unlocked. And these are not all of them. These are just the ones I've gotten so far. and I can choose which of these I want to go along with whatever I'm possibly doing in terms of a build. And if you either want generic ones or one specific to your class, a little icon here. So this one shows, this little icon here shows that it's a Druid aspect. So this one is about Hurricane when you have your shape-shifting skills. But some of these that don't have an icon, these are just generic ones you can go ahead and put on. So, like this one here can just give me baseline movement speed, and I'll lose this after I take damage. So we'll just go ahead and do that so I can give myself more movement speed, and it becomes a legendary with that imprint on it. And now, let's say I go ahead and salvage this, and if it's a legendary appearance I don't have, and once I salvage it, I'm now able to add this legendary appearance to my collection. So I think it's a really cool system, especially for early on, especially if you're wanting to use this on alts. And of course, one of the things I noticed when I checked out Season 4, there are quite a few more stash locations in the game. You'll notice there's a stash here, and a stash here. It used to be there was just this one stash right here when the game launched. Now there's multiple stashes in each town. It feels like they heard, like people were saying, like it was extremely inconvenient for us to have to run all the way back to the stash and then run back to, say, a different merchant. So they've added quite a few more stashes so that you have to do less running around and make it just more convenient for you to be able to, like, okay, I can grab this and I can go over here and back, rather than say go over here, then run back over here, and then run down over here, and then run back over here. Yeah, it just feels like they want to make things more convenient and less of a hassle for players, and I'm really in favor of that. Now, once we get to level 10, we're going to come back here and be able to talk to this alchemist about upgrading our potions. So as you level and actually get more resources, you'll be able to increase the potency of your potions to not only do more instant healing, but also healing over time as well. So you'll also be able to go here and craft some elixirs, which can basically be the kind of things that will give you temporary bonuses, like this one will, for 30 minutes, will increase your attack speed, your lucky hit by 15%, and increase the amount of XP you get by 8% for the next half hour. And you can just be able to do that a lot. You can also be able to transmute different kinds of items. So let's say if I'm really trying to get, say, one of these specific items, which may have affixes, but won't have the actual thing on it, as in, like, the actual, like, you'll notice that this unique does not have, it's an ancestral unique chest, but it doesn't have the thing on it. Now, maybe it will, because it just says 5 affixes, but it doesn't say which one. But you're basically taking a roll or a gamble, which you'll notice it's 50 million gold and 4 of those resplendent sparks. So yeah, that's definitely high endgame stuff. Incenses, I haven't really messed with these. Increase all stats by 15 only for nearby players and XP for 20 minutes. So it looks like it's for if you're playing with a group, or if you're going to be taking on a world boss, because this is more of an MMO now, sort of, than it used to be. Now, it's not a full-on MMO like say, World of Warcraft, but it has some of the foundations of that, you know? I've also mentioned how, because you'll notice there's a few players running around this town. And there's also, of course, a number of side quests with the exclamation point. They definitely were trying to see, hey, let's make an attempt at making a possible Diablo MMO here, basically. You seem concerned.
Yes, well, Bozan has yet to return from delivering our tithing demands to Menestad. Perhaps you could sweep the roads and see what's taking him so long. The cathedral must receive its dues.
And just to remind you guys, some of these definitely have continuations.
I tell you, my neighbor is bewitched. I saw him skulking outside my door, muttering curses.
Right. This wouldn't have anything to do with the money you owe him, would it?
Oh, and in case you're wondering about the MMO thing, here's a quest that literally lets you test out one of those things. Tell me about Kyovashad.
Damn cold, isn't it? But at least we are safe. Beyond these walls, darkness reigns.
How fares the city guard?
The new militia recruits have been training night and day. They deserve a little praise. But I can't let them see me as soft. Mind giving them a cheer for me? Easy coin for you, a boost of confidence for the recruits, and I get to go on being the hard ass. Everybody wins.
I will take care of it.
So, in order to do this quest, you have to do an emote. Yes, I'm serious. There are emotes in this game because, like I said, it has the makings of an MMO. So in order to do this quest, you have to do the cheer emote.
Well done.
And now you can turn it in. By the way, this is not the only quest that has you utilize an emote to complete it.
Thanks. I hope they don't get used to it.
By the way, another incentive for doing side quests, not only do you get XP and gold, but you also get this, a herb cache, which will usually contain a herb for crafting and also a piece of gear. So it definitely incentivizes you to definitely try and do some side quests. You're highly incentivized to do side quests in this game. Not just because of how rewarding they are, but also because, well, they probably have better story. And I've said this before, Blizzard has a tendency to make mistakes when it comes to their main stories in their games, but the real gems when it comes to their storytelling are in the side stories. The stories that can be ignored, but if you want more story, they're there for you to find them, and they can be really good stuff. I actually found that a lot of the side quests in this game are better stories than the main story. But again, that's nothing new for a Blizzard game. So this is a problem with this game. If you're not close enough, you may not catch the actual voice acting. Because she's, you know, she has voice acting there, but because I wasn't close enough, it didn't trigger. So she said, "We were born in sin, children of darkness, but the Father's light can be sought through repentance and faith. Walk in the light." And of course, there's our buddy Yosef. This is Reverend Mother Prava. Yeah.
We must be ever vigilant against sin, brother.
Yes, Reverend Mother.
Let the light of Inarius burn away wickedness. Let not temptation lead you from his holy radiance. Let righteousness sear away corruption and sin. Cast out thy darkness, for only light must remain.
Cast out thine darkness, for only light must remain.
Is this the one from the west?
Yes, Reverend Mother. Did Lorath not accompany you?
He sent me on without him.
Putting faith in that old man was a mistake. What could possibly be of greater import?
Lilith.
So, you know. We have received word from one of our knights of a demon sighting in Gale Valley. The description matches too closely to the sighting in the west. If you would travel to Yelesna and take stock of the events there, you would have the gratitude of the Cathedral of Light. I had thought to send Lorath, but...
Again, he fails in his duty.
with or without Lorath, the will of Inarius shall be done. Here, take the knight's report before you go.
I'm just amused because... I mean... Because... It's amusing for me because I know about Inarius. And the idea that they are, like, treating Inarius this way just makes me laugh. Because we know more about Inarius than they clearly do. We also know how Inarius actually feels about them. And if they knew how he feels about them, I doubt they would feel the same way, unless they are just so fanatically behind him that they wouldn't care. But then again, that is the question, isn't it? Are they so fanatically behind him, following him, would they even care?
Reverend Mother, I received a report of a potential demon sighting. Horned woman near Yelesna Mines. Performed routine inspection, nothing yet. Sent in priest and escort of knights. We'll report in when we find something.
So, Reverend Mother Prava. By the way, she's voiced by the same woman who played Seer in the Jedi games that came out recently. So, you know Lorath?
His skill is unmatched. But as you can see, he's not so reliable.
It's not out of indifference. He went off searching for a pale man who accompanied Lilith.
So someone is helping her. How easily the souls of men sink to darkness.
Ain't that the truth? So what do you know of Lilith?
She is spawn of a prime evil. Mark my words, Nevesk was but the beginning. She will kill again. But our father, the angel Inarius, is prophesied to defeat her. Where there is faith, there need not be fear.
Yeah, remember that prophecy for later. What happened in Yelesna?
One of our flock, the watch commander, Vigo, sent word of a demon sighting. A girl claimed to see a horned woman. The risk is too great to dismiss. Seek him out. He should be well into his search.
Yeah, remember Vigo for later as well. We'll meet this Vigo, but definitely remember him. I will say this, there's a number of things that they do here that, like, if you remember them for later, you feel a decent payoff from them.
You, Wanderer, I know what you are.
Yeah, by the way, our nickname in this game is the Wanderer. Which, considering that we had the Dark Wanderer in Diablo 2, I'm not sure I'd actually want our characters to be called that. Like, if they called us the Traveler, I'd be like, okay, fine, sure. But the Wanderer, I'm like, excuse me, are you saying I'm the Dark Wanderer from Diablo 2? I'd like to think we're not, but... whatever, I guess. What is it, priest?
I know what you are. Yosef told me. He told me about Nevesk, about the blood, about your vision. You think you were saved. Pff, fool. A demon's blood is alive. It will eat you from within until all that remains is her. Go to Nevesk, go! You will see the truth there.
Pretty sure he just spat on us, or spat at us. But get used to that, because a lot of these people will just straight up, like, spit on you and just be like, ah, you're horrible and evil, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There's a lot of unlikable people in this game. And again, I'm not really sure if that was the intent for the developers, if they just wanted to make everybody in this game just extremely unlikable or something. So let me finish showing you a bit more of Kyovashad. So over here, we've got someone who sells rings and amulets, which you can't even get yet because you have to wait until you're a certain level for that.
You see those fools up at the cathedral? Groveling, crying like dogs.
So, this is the Sable Master. So, early on, you won't really have access to that many. You'll have usually just like this one that you can get, but you have to wait. When you first play this game, you have to wait until you get to Act 4 to even unlock the ability to use your horse. And the first time you're playing and you have to go through the first 3 acts without a horse, oh my gosh. It can be a pain. It can take so long. Being able to now have these horses for the entirety of the game on all your characters is so much better. It makes going through this game so much nicer and better. You can also acquire more of these as you play through the end game. I've actually been acquiring more mount armors. Not necessarily more mounts, but more mount armors. So, like, some of the ones I have unlocked right now, this one was from the Season of Blood. I actually ended up getting this one. This one, I actually don't remember how I got this one, but this one is quite the showcase. It's actually, like, got lightning, electricity crackling around it. We've got this one here, Crypt Hunter. The Light Bearer, you can see it, like, not really fond of them doing this to horses, but then again, we see a lot of decapitated horses in this game. Primal Instinct. Kind of cool looking. A Warded Mustang. A lot of very tattooed, marked horses in this, aren't there? And this one, yeah, I think this was one of the pre-order things. Pretty, horrifying and even gross looking, if you think about it. Yeah. So, I've been kind of, like, going with whatever, like, I feel like going when it comes to, like, customizing my horse, depending on what character I'm playing. I've got some of these trophies here. I've got this, like, banner here. And then you can have these trophies here on the side. They don't do anything. They're just, again, they're cosmetic. A lot of this stuff is strictly cosmetic. Nothing more. This is what I got for taking down that world boss in the, I think it was the Server Slam. Yeah. And then we've got the mount armors. This is the really cool part. Being able to customize the armor. Now, I've always been a sucker for being able to put cool armor on your mount. That's just something that's always appealed to me, you know? And again, I like to pick it based on what character I'm playing. I guess for my Druid, we'll go with this for now. And yes, if you want, at a vendor, you can get even more. And I'm actually tempted to go ahead and grab these, only because they don't cost that much gold right now, compared to the amount of gold I actually do have. But they're not really super special, they're just generic. And they're basically there for those who are not able to get some other really cool looking mounts and such. Again, the whole shop thing is definitely one of those detriment things. So now you'll notice we have a couple of side quests that are like on the map here that have these things which I can be able to like click and it'll start tracking it. I can also right click here and now it'll show me this line on my map that'll take me right over here. And this will, once I get here, I can be able to unlock this as a fast travel. And of course you can hop on your horse in town and go ahead and start riding it. So now we can head back to the town we were at. And now make it a fast travel location. This will give me an opportunity to show you guys an event. So this is an event. It's an open world event that you can be able to participate in either by yourself or with other players. If another player shows up, they can join in, or you can just start yourself. And it can usually give you some decent rewards. In terms of either gear or gold. And of course, XP in case you're actually trying to level your character. Especially if you decide to have your character skip the campaign and just go straight into this open world content, which you can do.
I need more spirit.
Okay, yeah, that was a good idea. So, if you're wondering why did my Earthen Bulwark last that long, that's because I realized I had this legendary aspect. I'll show it to you guys in a second. And I decided to go ahead and put it on my piece of gear. The duration of Earthen Bulwark is increased by 6 seconds. In addition, killing an enemy will replenish 2 of your active Earthen Bulwark barriers. So, yeah. Got another point. And now we can get Trample. Shapeshift into a bear and become unstoppable and charge forward, dealing damage and knocking back enemies. If you knock them into terrain, they get stunned for 3 seconds. We can further have it where it does 150% bonus damage. It either grants life as Fortify, or it can grant Spirit. So for now, I'll just have that on my 4, but once I get Grizzling Rage, I'll go ahead and get rid of the Creeper. Like, I thought about keeping the Creeper for now, but being able to have that Earthen Bulwark thing, you know, imprint, I think is actually really cool. Especially if I don't have... because I'm trying to remember where the thing is I saw, where it's like you do more damage to a enemy if it's poisoned as a werebear. But I just forget where it is or how to get it. Alright, so we've made it back to this town, and now we can add it as a waypoint for fast travel. Hello? Looking for something? So, this is the beginning of a cool little quest line that can continue later on.
An axe. Specifically the axe of the woodsman. A man who stalked and butchered travelers in this area. Rumor has it, the woodsman disappeared recently and left his weapon behind. The priest who hired me didn't offer much more to go on. At this rate, I'll freeze before I find the damn thing. If you help me find the axe, I'll cut you in on the pay. Check the woods around town. I'm staying here where it's safe.
Why do you want the woodsman's axe?
I don't. Perrin does. He's a priest of sorts, but what he wants with it, I don't know. I've done work for him in the past. Always odd items or objects with a history. He pays well for them.
Very well.
Damned cold. Come, speak with me.
You said I would see the truth, but all I see here is a burnt-out town.
If you do not look, you will not see. Search for a ritual blade or the demon's blood, something of the faithless, something you can touch.
Who are you?
Who are you, pet? I am Voshalko. I am Kyovashad. I have lived here for 50 years. I was once the Angel's most favored priest. And now, tongue-slick newcomers don't even know my name!
Wow, full of yourself, aren't you? I am Kyovashad! Okay. Really? You're an entire town. Really? And what makes Nevesk so important?
It is not important. It is a vile shithole. But to you it is a place of birth. You will see. Well, what have you found?
A petal.
Ah, you see how the petal pulses as it touches your skin. You are solid, just as I said. The demon burrows into your soul. A terrible fate, but perhaps Voshalko will help you. An exorcism. This is what you need. Go to Mercy's Reach, search the crypts. You will find a holy relic, the child's call, touched by the angel himself. I will require this to purge the blood.
So now we get a quest to go do a dungeon. You'll see here, the quest takes us into this dungeon here, Mercy's Reach. You usually have side quests that will usually involve dungeons, which is one of those, like, yep, it's an MMO thing. How many quests in WoW involve you getting something from a dungeon? Now, usually it's at the end of a quest line, but sometimes it's in the middle of a quest line here in this game. Why was a holy relic left in Mercy's reach?
Ask the false pilgrims. They flocked to the Ancient's presence once, but he asks patience of them, and how do they respond? They spit at his fate. Those of us who stayed true, we were starved, hounded, forced to leave behind what was most precious. So it was with the child's call.
Yeah, if they know what I know about Cenarius, I don't blame them. You were important once, weren't you?
Important? I led the faithful through the church's darkest days. I was his voice. But Brava, light shone upon her. She changed all this. Her voice burned with holy fire, while mine could not. In time, I was simply another priest, as was good and right.
So now let's go find that axe. Well, well. Oh, hello. He didn't even get to finish saying. He was saying, "Sweet as the blood of the lamb." I didn't even hit him. All I did was activate the creeper to root him and poison him. He hit me, and I think my thorns killed him. Again, I want to re-stress, if you're like, wait a minute, I am playing on... I hope there's a way for me to actually show this. I should be able to show this to you guys. Yeah, I am playing on Tier 2, which again is the highest difficulty that's available to the characters this low level. The reason my character is so strong is because I've gotten so many of these Altars of Lilith. Now, yes, I'm also able to have access to gear and tempering, but still, it's like, You'll also notice this circle here.
Thanks. A beast lives within you. Sorry. I could use some assistance.
So yeah, you activate the statue and you get a hint. It'll say atone, and that's a hint to say sorry, because emotes are a thing built into this game.
Apologize.
And you'll notice all the healing potions it gave me. Yeah. So anyways. So now let's go ahead and just quickly teleport back and give her the axe. And I'm sure we won't have any continuation about this axe later, right? I have the axe.
It must have been a grim place, judging by how much blood is on this axe. I confess, I'm eager to leave this place. I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. Now to get this thing back to Menestad and collect my due. Thank you for your help.
So once you do that, usually another quest will then open up. Or it will lead you to something else or somewhere else. For example, if we go do this other quest I have, which is investigate the road for the monk Bosun, and if we head this way, oh, there's a silent chest, but I don't have a key. provoke.
You are weak and foolish.
Huh. Are you Bosun the monk?
Indeed I am. My guard turned on me, tried to choke the life out of me. All I could do before I lost consciousness was go over the cliff. I need to return to Kyovashad and request a night escort. Please, take the tithing demands to the merchant lord Talgun in Menestad.
So now we get directed to go over here. To another town and unlock another fast travel point. The cathedral must receive its dues.
I am so very grateful. I will need to make the necessary arrangements. Please, excuse me. How did this happen? I shouldn't be holding this in my hands. It should be.
Restraint, my lord. Restraint.
Ah, yes. Of course. Carry on, Isti.
Let me tell you, traveler. Next time some cutpurse picks my pocket, they'll be losing a hand.
Okay, so sometimes we are called the Traveler. Or a Traveler.
Bad enough I have to stand watch. Now I'm supposed to police the pickpockets?
What do you need?
An arrangement I made went awry, and I was extorted by the ruffian Laskus for protection. He's camped somewhere near the pass to the northwest. Return the gemstones he stole, and I'll make it worth your while.
Sure thing, Velen. Sorry, I just instantly recognized that was the voice actor who plays Velen in WoW.
Get up! She must be stopped before more hurt! You there, help!
What happened?
Do not underestimate her.
It's Perrin. Calm down, old man. What ails you?
A mad woman with an axe. She massacred my knights like they were children. Her face was pained, as if she could not stop herself. The axe, it seemed to feed on the blood. Someone must separate her from that accursed axe. The town militia won't stand a chance.
What are these knights to you?
They served as both protectors and as observers I trusted with my work.
So now we get to go into the Red Cellar to face this mad woman with an axe. Why is it called the Red Cellar? You tell me. Just, again, not really caring about any restraint when it comes to showing off blood and gore in this. Just, yeah. Decapitated body. It reminds... I feel like they took pointers from the folks who made Diablo 2 Resurrected. Because in that, they really... If you play the more redone version, there's a lot of this stuff in detail. Especially in Act 3. Like, yeah. I keep hammering this point about how they chose not to hold back at all when it came to the blood and gore.
You! Anyone but you! Stay back!
This one begged for mercy. Now she feasts on human flesh.
You remember her, right? We just met her in that town. That was the woodsman's axe that we got.
Is it done?
We found that woodsman's axe. We saw what spawned from it when we found it. We gave it to her, and that's what it did to her. It caused her to go insane and become a complete butcher of people and kill all these people. That is a direct consequence of the first part of this questline that we did. This is what I mean about how in this game they wanted to go ahead and have these continuous quest lines. Which I think is really cool. The threat is no more. For now.
Magdalena, light be damned, how did this come to pass? I need your help, and we haven't much time. We'll need to purge the demon from the blade before it can be destroyed. Meet me in the crags of Illwind. My study there is on hallowed ground. There is no safer place to perform the incantation.
So who are you?
I am Perrin, Master of the Forbidden, sanctioned scribe for the Church. My charge is to study the great enemy in all manifestations.
I think you would have been an interesting Horadrim. I knew Magdalena. I helped her in Nevesk.
Magdalena has been in my employ for years. It pains me greatly to know what has happened. If such an artifact was found in Nevesk, I will see the town burned to the ground, and the earth salted. Who knows what other foul things slithered out of that town?
So what caused her to do this?
The woodsman's axe. I thought it dangerous, sure, but possessed by a fiend, never would I have guessed. There is little knowledge concerning such a blasphemous artifact. I'll need to visit my study to gather my thoughts.
So now, we go meet him here to finish off the next part of this quest line. And there's the gemstones. Let's go grab those real quick, and then we will go meet with our priest friend.
These pilgrims making their way to Kyovashad are good people. We do our best to keep them safe from the vampire infestation, but we can't save them all.
Vampires, you say? Excuse me, Luskus? I've come for the gemstones that belong to Meros.
Meros sent you. That spineless merchant. Ha! This will cost him dearly.
Dude, you're about to tangle with a werebear. You don't want this. I don't even have to do anything. I just stand here and they die. Either because my thorns are killing them, or because of my creeper. And this is on tier 2. Again, if I could turn this up to tier 3, I would, but it won't let me. I have a feeling that's something that they're going to change later on. To give you the option to actually have your new characters do that.
No,
but then again, I'm in the early zones.
This place is overrun.
Oh, whoops. I ran to a stronghold. Ignore that. We'll do that some other time later. Not now. Not yet. For now, let's just go ahead and meet with our priest friend.
You made it. Let us move quickly before we draw unwanted attention.
Because, of course, apparently if the cathedral knew he was doing this, he'd be in great trouble.
Here in my study, I have been permitted to research the occult. If we displace the demon bound to the axe, perhaps we can then see it destroyed. Take the woodsman's axe from the table. Place the axe in the holy water. There's no telling what the demon will do once we begin. Heavenly Father Inarius, let us drive out the demon in our midst. Grant us your favor, so that we may send the fiend back to the pits of hell. Please, Father of Fathers, grace us with your holy light.
Oh, man. I was not anticipating that my thorns were going to insta-kill these guys. Oh, man. Ugh.
We did it. The axe is no more. I know not what has become of the souls of its victims. We can but pray they have found the light.
And now we can go turn this in. But it's honestly one of the fun things about this game is seeing these quest lines continue or have consequences from you doing them, where you then get to see them continue, but they don't always turn out the way you hope they will. I've returned with your payment.
So, the deed is done. Excellent. I knew you would prove worthy of my trust. I'm sure you've heard the new word as it spreads. We will no longer suffer at the hands of the lesser. Our strength, our might, our destiny is to triumph over the weak.
So, I think what we will do next is we'll probably make our way down here to this town, and then we'll make our way over to this town. Stay tuned.